and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Atmansky, and I'm here today with...
Justin DeClue.
And Colin Cunningham.
And we have a special guest this week, a very generous donator to the Gold Ninja video crowdfunding. It is Dan Port.
Hi, everyone. Nice to be here.
Hello, Dan.
Very formal, Colin.
Thank you for your generous donation.
I don't remember receiving a check for this money.
Colin, you don't come to our hands-on meeting, all hands-on deck meeting that we have twice a week?
Wait, is it the yearly, the annual general meeting?
Yes, that's right. Okay. Where one of us will be fired.
Oh, no.
So, Dan, we're talking about the Belushi classic, Taking Care of Business. And this was your pick. What prompted this movie?
Oh, boy. So this is a movie I actually watched a lot growing up in the 90s because I think...
I'm sorry.
I know, right? But not by choice necessarily. WGN used to air Cubs games, and during rain delays, for some reason, this movie got shown more than any other. So I probably saw this movie a dozen times, like just in different sections over a period of 10 years or something in the 90s. So...
oh my God.
And then I rewatched it shortly after Charles Grodin passed away. I was kind of rewatching a lot of his work. And And this stuck out as a bad movie that has some interesting things in it. So I thought it might be good for you guys to take a crack at.
Yeah, there's a lot to say in this. Well, it's probably better that you watched it in chunks over 10 years as opposed to like watching it all in one go.
It's like the great films like Jacques Yvette's Out. It's like you got to watch it in chunks to be able to absorb it, you know?
Is it like propaganda for the Cubs? Because Jim Belushi cannot stop talking about, I got to get to the Cubs game, Cubs, and then they win.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably why they showed it so much. They probably had a good licensing deal and just said, oh, well, Cubs fans will like this, right?
They had a stake in it. They're like, we spent our whole budget on this movie. We got to get it back.
If I didn't know any better, I would think that Jim Belushi himself wrote and directed this movie.
Yes.
Everyone loves him in this movie. He can do no wrong.
Do we have a Belushi expert on the podcast here? Like, where was Belushi in his career when this movie came out?
I can provide some context. I think K-9 had come out the year prior. And Mr. Destiny, I think, came out like just a few months after this. So we were kind of in prime Belushi mode in 1990. Why? I have absolutely no idea. I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Milwaukee originally. I know you guys have some friends there in RLM and all those guys. So yeah, I wasn't a Cubs fan, but I was a baseball fan. And I kind of, I get the whole brats and beer blustery attitude of Belushi. I don't like it, but I guess I understand it.
Yeah, it's
nobody likes Jim Belushi.
I want to say it's his persona, but that's just him.
There is no person. He's such a flat line, a comedic flat line.
Can we get all the great Belushi goss out of the way? So I made a note that said, "Stop calling him the Belushi," but I can't help it.
No,
I know.
I don't know if you guys are friends, maybe with Simon Barrett, but I'm just a fan of his. I don't know him, but he has a podcast where they cover like animal movies.
Right.
And they discussed K-9, and they referred to Jim Belushi for an hour and a half as the Belushi, and only as the Belushi.
Oh, no.
I love it so much.
He's John Belushi's brother. How about that?
Yeah. He shall forever be known as. I mean, I obviously don't know a lot about Jim Belushi, but I'm assuming that, after his brother died, people were looking to fill that Belushi hole. And they were like, well... You can be on SNL, and I guess you can be in movies? I mean, I don't understand.
Was he on SNL?
Yeah.
For 3 years, in the mid-80s.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
His career is a mystery to me.
I don't understand how so many executives were like, this guy needs to be the star of not only one vehicle, but multiple movies that are just... the
Terrible.
Jim Belushi show. Yeah.
He acted so much. In 1979, he was on a sitcom. 2 sitcoms.
Oh my God.
Goodness.
Wait, when did John Belushi die? That was in the 80s, wasn't it? Early 80s?
Yes.
Do you think Jim Belushi had something to do with John Belushi's demise?
Oh, no. What do you think? I'm getting the feeling. Remember how when Chris Farley died, and then all of a sudden he had brothers, and they were doing comedy.
Oh yeah, starring in American Carol.
Oh God,
Oh goodness.
The right-wing David Zucker film.
Oh no, I have a feeling it's like that. It's the star of the family dies, and then it's like, who else we got?
But how has Jim Belushi? Oh no, they're
Don't you
molded
dare.
into one.
Don't you dare.
How has he lasted so long?
I have no
It's so
idea.
many movies.
I have no idea.
So you're right. At some point, because John Belushi died, I think in '82, and then I guess America was okay with taking on lesser Belushi in the public consciousness.
Lesser Belushi.
But yeah, he was on a sitcom from 2001 to 2009 called According to Jim, and I think that was kind of
Oh yeah, that's right.
where he
Does
made
he
his
only
bank.
play characters named Jim? Because
Yeah, he's like Jackie Chan.
Yeah,
you have to
exactly.
call him Jim on set.
Like Leo Fong.
yeah.
It has to sound like his name.
Yeah. That was one of those shows that you'd hear about every 5 years.
it was
and
like
go
King
like,
of Queens.
Exactly.
Whatever Tim Allen's sitcom.
But it was hugely popular, and you're like, I can't believe that's still on. Is that still on? How long?
Have
has
you
this show
guys
been
heard the
going for?
two amazing stories about According to Jim? Number one, Jim Belushi was so lazy on set, he wouldn't get up to go to the bathroom, and he pissed in bottles.
No.
I can't
no.
believe that.
Oh my
not-
That is a confirmed thing that happened.
He pissed at the craft service table in front of his co-star, and I heard this from you,
Oh,
Justin.
this sounds familiar.
Yeah, because it's also covered in the amazing episode of Frankenhole where John Belushi keeps transforming into Jim Belushi.
Oh, that's right. We just watched
I
that.
showed Colin that episode because you had it on your Halloween stream and I'd never heard of it, and I was like, Colin, I think you need to watch just this episode in particular.
And everybody's like, oh no, Jim Belushi.
Yeah, he's like the Jekyll and Hyde, and Dr. Jekyll is John, and Mr. Hyde is the evil version
Oh,
of him,
God
Jim
almighty.
Belushi.
And he pisses in bottles on that show. And also, I think it was a Christmas party that they had, and they gave everybody gifts, and it was copies of According to Jim on DVD, the show that they worked
Oh my
on.
God.
Oh, God.
And so they all put the DVDs through like a window that Jim Belushi had left open on his car. So they just packed it with like hundreds of DVDs.
That's pretty funny. That's a good way to get back at him.
That's good. And then they should have thrown like a piss bottle in with it. I'm trying.
Well, to defend Jim Belushi a little bit, he was good on Twin Peaks: The Return.
Yes,
He was.
Yes.
And I was kind of getting angry at that show. I'm like, please don't let me actually like a Jim Belushi performance. But yeah, he was kind of funny on that. But you've heard like David Cross
Yes.
and Jim Belushi have a huge beef.
Do you know
Apparently-
the David Cross story about when they worked on set together?
Yeah, I forget what movie it was, but
It was Destiny Turns on the Radio, which was I guess sort of a spiritual sequel to Mr. Destiny. I don't know. I don't keep up with that.
The
stuff.
Quentin Tarantino classic.
isn't
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and I'm paraphrasing here, but I guess basically one of the extras wanted to meet Jim Belushi or something, and David Cross.
I think it was a kid.
Or yeah, that's what it was. She had a kid who the kid wanted Jim Belushi's autograph for some reason.
Yeah.
And then he kind of pulled Belushi aside and said, "Hey, you see that woman over there?" And before he could get his message out, Belushi, I guess, assumed the woman wanted to hook up with him and was very crude about it.
He
Yeah.
says, I thought she was going to give me a blowjob.
Okay.
And I think the kid had cancer or something.
Yeah, it
I
was
mean, I
really
might be
disgusting.
misremembering,
He said,
but-
"I'll give her an autograph if she blows me or something." And then
Yeah, I mean-
David Cross has never forgiven him for that.
Had a vendetta for him ever since, which is so, all of these stories are which to say that are much more interesting probably than the
movie
events of this movie.
But if there is a great video on YouTube, I think, of David Cross showing up. For some reason, I guess Jim Belushi shows up at the House of Blues and goes on
He's
stage.
the new Blues Brother, didn't you know?
Terrible. And so David.
Him and Bill Aykroyd and
Bill Aykroyd. John Goodman.
no, it's Jim Goodman. Sorry. The poster outside was like Aykroyd, Belushi, Goodman.
Yeah. But it's of so Jim Belushi is on stage singing, I guess singing horribly, and David Cross makes his way to the front of the crowd, and he's acting like an idiot. He's dancing like crazy. And I think he even crawls
really
on,
funny.
he crawls on stage, and he's getting in Jim Belushi's face, dancing and being an idiot. And then I think Jim Belushi asks the security to haul him out, and he gets dragged out.
It's like if you could dance sarcastically, but
Yeah.
also really cheerily, he is. I'm pretty sure that's on YouTube.
It's
Before
really
we
funny.
get into the movie, though, I have one positive Jim Belushi story, which is that I interviewed Albert Puin's regular cinematographer, George Muradian, who's an awesome guy. He rocks, and his films look great. And he had shot 2 films that starred Jim Belushi, and they liked each other so much that Jim actually made him go from shooting really dynamic, stylistic films to shooting according to Jim for 101 episodes.
101 episodes?
I just realized while we're talking that I was actually in a movie with Jim Belushi.
What?
That animated movie that I did, The Wild.
Jim Belushi's in that?
He played the squirrel. I forgot. I just forgot until now.
Wow.
Well, so that there's no 6 degrees of separation there.
Why?
Hey, wait, what's this? A door's opening. Jim Belushi. Hey, guys, how's it going? Da-na-na-na-na.
Oh, God.
So anyway, apparently there's a whole bunch of Jim Belushi movies I've never even heard of. Like, because apparently by the sounds of it, there's like dozens.
Yeah.
Hundreds? No. Yeah, maybe not that many. I only know like the big ones. So I've seen him in things. I've never seen a Jim Belushi vehicle like this movie, which apparently is.
He's really good in that Twin Peaks ripoff show, Wild Palms, that came out in the 90s.
That sounds familiar.
I think you posted about that on Twitter, maybe, Justin.
Yes, I posted a video of it starts with Jim Belushi finding a rhino in his pool. He's like, "How'd a rhino get in my pool?"
Vaguely remember that. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, taking care of business.
Yeah. Wait.
Oh my God, Jim Belushi has 157 credits.
Oh, do you guys know what he's up to these days?
No.
Yep, selling
Growing
weed.
weed.
Yes.
That's what I heard.
He owns a 93-acre weed farm in Oregon, and he's making millions and millions of dollars still, I'm sure.
Oh my God.
How do you
So
feel
he
about
just-
your life?
This guy has he's won at life.
He can't stop. Yeah. Also, there's another. Sorry, but there's another Jim Belushi story. He wrote like a really misogynistic article that was printed. I don't know in what. I want to say maybe Playboy or something. But it was basically about how he didn't like. What's that thing in the car that tells you where to go?
The GPS.
Oh.
GPS. Yeah. He got angry at his GPS because it had a woman's voice and it was telling him how to drive.
Oh boy!
And he wrote a whole article about it. I'm sure you can look it up.
Well, he wrote a book called Real Men Don't Apologize
Oh God.
in 2006, which seems late for a book like that to be acceptable. Yeah, when he was married to his third wife, it's all about being a real man and having a successful marriage because of that. Side note, they divorced a few years ago.
Yeah, I'm sure of that.
Oh God.
I wonder though if Belushi's Twitter presence seems like he's now like the gentle grandpa on Twitter.
I don't know.
I don't follow him, so I'm not sure what he's
Yeah.
tweeting. But
Yeah.
you're probably right.
So I'm curious to know if like some really mean people when they're young, and by young I mean middle-aged, and then when they get older they kind of mellow out because they realize they've got everything that they want, just like Jim Belushi.
He had his brother
Sure.
John's career. He's got a weed farm.
He's got 10
He's,
wives.
He's got it all.
Acting in stuff like Scooby-Doo and the Goblin King,
Oh, no.
playing Glob.
I'm sure he's doing a lot of voice acting. That's how you get the millions of credits. Just doing his own voice. Okay, let's get into Taking Care of Business, which is a movie where it's kind of like The Prince and the Pauper a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. I can see that.
I rewatched this today, and it didn't occur to me until now that it's very similar to Trading Places.
Yeah.
I kind of kept. I said that a few times last time we were watching it, especially because how dirty Charles Grodin gets, and how he's just beaten down at every turn. I'm like, that's kind of like what happens to Dan Aykroyd. And you take a lower class person and you show them the high life, and it's very similar.
Yeah. It's pretty much like Charles Grodin misery porn.
A little bit.
And
yeah.
I think Charles Grodin is kind of at his best when he's just put upon.
Hey, he's
And
great in this movie.
He is. He's the kind of, I don't know, bright spot, I might say. But
Maybe he doesn't have as much to work with as, say, Clifford, but I think he's always hilarious.
He
He
is.
can't not be, and he's pulling some really great faces in this.
that's my favorite thing is just when someone's lecturing to him, or he just has that face on him where he's just either has so much contempt for the person that's talking to him, or he's just staring off into the distance Simpsons wishing that he was dead.
Yeah.
I thought this was Jim Belushi's being there. Just a simple man going through the world, teaching life lessons on the way.
Oh my God. If only we would just let loose like Jim Belushi, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, the movie lets loose because we get what we came for right from the get-go. Taking care of business.
Every day.
I feel like it
Taking
starts
care of
before the
business.
credits even begin.
It's like
starts
the
in your
overture,
head.
like West Side Story.
Now, this is by a Canadian band, we should say.
Yeah, Bachman Turner Overdrive.
Yeah, otherwise known as BTO. And they're...
You a big BTO fan, Dan?
I mean, so I thought you were asking me.
I'm
Because
not.
April's like, oh, I have BTO facts to share.
Sure, BTO, their big hit was TCB. That's how we talked in the 80s. There wasn't a moment to spare.
Yes,
And that's pretty much it. Wow, the Wikipedia page has a lot of entries, though.
Ain't Seen Nothing Yet.
Yes,
Was that
that's
them
the
too?
other hit. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
that's- Well, also...
It's really funny
Very
that on their
similar.
Wikipedia it says hiatus 2005 to 2009. It's like, hey, listen, I think you were in hiatus before then.
And they came back, but they had that Christmas song, "Taking Care of Christmas."
Oh God. Oh
Just
no.
possible.
Oh, that's the laziest. It's
Yeah.
like taking care of Christmas.
Santa's
every
working.
day.
You just know it's like Santa's working overtime.
Yeah, I think
just to get
that's
those
what it
toys on
was.
time.
Yeah, total cash grab. But, yeah.
Well, this is funny because I tweeted out the poster. By the way, the poster is by Drew Struzan,
Amazing.
famous
I can't-
poster artist.
I can't believe that.
The poster is so good. It's got
You think Drew Struzan is too good for some
Yes.
jobs, April?
Yes, yes, I do.
Have you seen his unreleased Nothing But Trouble poster?
Well, I'm sure that at
No.
least looked more interesting.
oh God. Well, yeah, this has like it's a number of scale issues on this poster, and first of all, Jim Belushi appears to be 15 feet tall. He's surfing on a Rolls Royce that Charles Grodin, a very tiny Rolls Royce that kind of large, too large Charles Grodin. Charles Grodin is like
He's smiling.
he's kind of waving his fist at Jim Belushi like, hey, get off my.
Yeah,
Get
but
off
he
the
loved
roof.
Jim Belushi, so you can see through that Drew Struzan art the kind of appreciation on Grodin's face.
Well, there's,
You know,
there's a number of problems with this poster, and I would love to tweet at Drew Struzan and get answers, but like, I just picture Belushi standing next to him as he's doing it and be like, no, make me bigger on top of the car. I want to look like I'm 10 feet tall.
I gotta be much
Imagine
bigger.
Jim Belushi in Drew Struzan's like workshop on a surfboard, like posing for 10 hours.
But he's like naked. He insists.
Yeah. Oh, you beat me to it, Colin.
He insists on being
Drew's
naked.
like, sir, I know what you look like. You really don't need to be here.
The Belushi needs to breathe.
Well, it's like I had to confirm last night. I can tell Drew Struzan's style, so I looked this up. And on eBay, and sure enough, it was Drew Struzan, but you can get an original copy of this, not like a reprint or anything, for like $25.
well,
which is,
I know what you're getting for Christmas.
Wait, you mean the original copy for $25? The original painting?
No.
Drew
No, an
Struzan's
original
getting rid of?
original
Oh, I
print of
know.
it. Usually they do reprints of posters that are kind of terrible
An
quality,
original print.
and they sell for much cheaper than the original prints go for. But
Yeah, so you'll have Taking Care of Business, Nothing But Trouble. I don't know, the Drew Struzan do like a Soul Man poster as well in this fallow
probably.
period?
I'm sure he did. He doesn't promote that one.
Yeah.
And the opening credits here are terrible. It's just like business information flying on screen.
I don't know why they thought that would be exciting to look at like schedules and calendars and okay, yeah, this is really getting me excited for the movie.
Well, it makes more sense that if it was called Filofax, the movie, because it's like, oh, those are the things that are in a Filofax.
It actually was. It's funny you say that because I tweeted this out today, and listeners from the UK were tweeting that it was called Filofax in the UK. And they sent me the poster, and that's really funny. I didn't know what the hell Filofax was.
I had heard of it, but I didn't like own one or anything.
No.
I know some people, like my mom's friends and stuff in the corporate world around that time, had them. They typically also had cell phones. In 1990, cell phones were pretty prevalent among big business people, so it's weird that he wouldn't have one. But Filofax, I'm sure, was maybe a trademark issue in the U.S.
It must have been, yeah. Or just that
Yeah.
the phrase taking care of business wasn't a big thing. It wasn't a common phrase in the UK, or
When they licensed the
wasn't as
song,
big.
yeah, they were like, we have to name it after the song. We spent so much on it.
I kind
Did
of
they change the song? It's like, Filofax, loving your Filofax.
I wondered, like, this script probably existed, like, or the movie was even shot without it being called Taking Care of Business or without that song being at the beginning. I think that was just like put on later.
Probably,
I think it's fair to assume that the script underwent changes from the original writing to what's been on screen. Did you guys want to talk about who wrote this movie?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Jeffrey Abrams, a.k.a. J.J. Abrams.
Who wrote
And
Star
it's
Trek
got
Into
that
Darkness.
J.J. Abrams touch, right? The Filofax, the original mystery box.
Well, did you know he's in the movie briefly? J.J. Abrams is walking onto the plane ahead of Charles Grodin.
Really?
About 15 minutes in. It's like a blink and you miss it cameo.
Okay.
He looks so young and he looks a little pudgy, to be honest. But
That's so funny.
But I just, on this rewatch, I saw him getting onto the plane, and I just thought, like, poor J.J. Abrams, he probably wrote this as something more of like a thriller, and then he's like, ugh. He's sitting there being an extra on the plane. He's like, they turned my movie into a Jim Belushi vehicle. I wish this was a real plane, and I wish it would just crash on an island. And,
Yeah.
and that's where he got the idea
For Lost.
Let's not be too generous to JJ because he is the son of like very successful, I think, Hollywood agents.
Yeah.
Hollywood agents or
Yeah.
lawyers or something. And I mean,
Yeah.
funny story. Me and Colin thought that J.J. Abrams was the kid at the baseball game.
Yeah, because it says
Oh, well, we'll get to that.
Oh, yeah.
'cause
No,
I
that's-
hope you guys looked into that because we all know who that kid is.
No, we
I
don't.
don't, but
Well,
I did
Ooh,
look
okay.
familiar.
Okay,
Oh,
okay,
we'll
we'll get to it.
That's far
because
away
it
from
said
where we are
it
now.
said Jeffrey Abrams, written by Jeffrey Abrams at the beginning, and I thought, oh, I wonder if he's for some reason
thought it
related
was
to
his
J.J.
dad,
Abrams.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, because his dad was in Hollywood, blah blah blah. And I thought that was the kid at the end, like, hey, that's my dad's.
And we
cell
were
phone.
like, it
April,
kinda looks
Colin,
like him.
just remember turkeys, and you'll be like, oh,
I know
of
who
course.
it is already.
Oh, dang.
Because my brain went there. Colin, you should know this.
really turkeys.
Okay.
And this film is directed by Arthur Hiller, director of Love Story
Yes. And
The
Making
Hospital,
Love.
An outrageous
which
fortune.
is a really good movie.
And a bajillion other things.
Arthur Miller.
Yeah,
oh
he
my
also
God.
directed Burn, Hollywood Burn, which I only realized when I started watching Taking Care of Business. I also have to watch this week.
Oh, no.
I was wondering about that. Yeah, because you had somewhere you had posted that you had watched it. I said, oh, I wonder if he knows it was written by, or it was directed by the same guy. Arthur Hiller also did a series of Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder comedies.
Yeah,
Yes.
Silver Streak.
Yeah, and See No Evil,
See
Hear
No
No
Evil,
Evil.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the one where one of them's deaf and one of them's blind, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And his last film was the John I can't say his name for some reason. John Bon Jovi, National Lampoon's Pucked.
Oh, God.
Oh
National
Jesus Christ.
Lampooned.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a perfect capper for his career.
Yeah, and then he keeled over and died.
Because I have said everything I need to say.
Just like Gene Hackman and Welcome to Mooseport.
And music, by the way, by Stuart Copeland, the drummer for The Police. Yeah, which he got into doing a lot of soundtracks at this time, I think, and you can kind of tell it's like very percussive, a lot of drum riffs.
There's some drum, like Mickey Mousing happening.
Yeah.
During the antics.
Oh, there's so many antics.
Okay, so we start off. Jim Belushi is in jail, much like Cape Fear or Con Air or something like that.
Okay, so my first thought was I wanted to reach through the screen and cut off his fucking ponytail.
Oh my God. Multiple times I was writing notes and
It's a rat tail.
I kept noticing it and I kept writing in my notes, ponytail. Ugh.
It's like greasy, and he's also balding, so it's just like it's wrong
But it's
on
like,
so many
it's like an
levels.
inch long. It shouldn't be a ponytail.
And it looks even more out of place later on when he's dressed up more formally.
Yeah.
too. It's just-
Yeah.
Oh, it's so gross.
Jim Belushi still has his hair, so I don't think he was balding, April. I think
But his forehead, it's gigantic.
He has a mature hairline. Let's say that.
Yeah, that's right. And he's had it for the last
50 years.
31 years.
Well, maybe he
So
got
30
plugs or something.
Since he himself was in Trading Places, yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He is in Trading
He's in
Places.
He's one of the gorilla guys.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh God.
Him and Al Franken. I
Hey,
think,
look
yeah.
what happened to me. I
that's
watch that
right.
movie every Christmas.
The next step for Jim Belushi, Congress, just like Al Franken.
Well, I don't know, but yeah, this prison cell. It's decorated like a child's bedroom. It's
way too much contraband in there.
It's full
Can you tell he loves the Cubs?
I can hardly tell.
Baseball everywhere.
Yeah, and I thought for a minute, I'm like, okay, what kind of prison is this? And they mention later, Hector Elizondo, by the way, is the warden of the prison. Mm-hmm. And it's like they mentioned that what is it?
It's minimum security.
Minimum security, but he's in jail, we find out later, for 37 counts of grand theft auto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want his attorney.
I would like, he should be getting the death penalty at this point.
Oh, come on.
It's because they let, oh man, Colin coming out for the death penalty for Grand Theft Auto.
No, only for Jim Belushi.
It's the Belushi rule. And we're also introduced to Charles Grodin in the next scene, and all I wrote here was, Charles Grodin is a good man in my notes.
Yeah. Like, his whole flaw in the movie is, like, what? He works a little bit too much?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He works a lot, but I mean, he still managed to have sex with his wife in the opening scene.
Although he does have to consult his file of facts as to when the last time they had sex was.
Yeah, he's living out of his file of facts. I mean, I sympathize with the wife character. Like, he's clearly never giving her the time of day, and, you know, he's a workaholic. It's a very familiar character for Charles Grodin, but he pulls it off great because he's so good at that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I think emerges later is that he's kind of being pushed around by his boss, the old man, and
right.
We don't get as much of that early. I think it would have maybe made more sense for his character if we had early on.
Yeah, because I'm not really on his side at the beginning.
Right.
You're kind of more just like, oh, he's kind of like a sleazy businessman.
Yeah, it kind of.
Yeah, he's rich. I don't care if he gets a promotion. Quit your job, Charles Grodin.
Yeah, we sort of. It's revealed that his boss is sort of in hospital. He's had a heart attack, and he needs Charles Grodin to meet with this Japanese representative, I guess, an executive played by Mako.
The Mako, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
And
lots of good guest stars in this movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mako is coming over. He's got an account. I guess Charles Grodin works as
he's an advertising agent.
Right. Okay. So he's got to fill in for his boss who's in hospital. He's got to fly to Malibu or something like that.
Mm-hmm. To schmooze Mako.
Schmooze Mako, make sure they land this deal. It keeps cutting back and forth between Charles Grodin and Jim Belushi.
And what does Jim want?
Living the high life. He wants to see the Cubs, of course.
Because they're playing in the World Series. Can you?
But he's getting out in 3 days. But that's not soon enough to get out and see the Cubs play the World Series.
Yeah, he ends up winning. Okay, first of all, he is so beloved in this prison.
Oh yeah,
everyone loves him.
He steps out and the whole prison is like, yay!
Just
and
on
they
a
like drew
regular
pictures
day.
of him.
Yeah.
One guy has made a painting of him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they keep lifting him on their shoulders to like.
I thought the whole
treated
thing
like a
was.
god.
Yeah, he is, and I thought he was maybe running a gambling thing. He was betting on sports games or something, and making everybody in the prison rich, and that's why they loved him. But apparently, it's just his personality.
Maybe in the director's cut. I don't know.
Maybe.
Colin, I think you just misremembered that from maybe. You'd never seen this movie before?
No, I'd never even heard of
it.
it.
You just assumed that maybe.
I assumed. I'm like, why else would anybody love Jim Belushi?
And we should point out for people who have never seen this film, why would you? There's almost no jokes in it.
No,
like
it's not funny, really.
no, it's like bereft of. I couldn't believe it.
I think I laughed a few times. It's more awkward humor,
Yes,
you know?
yeah.
Well, it's just
Like, is the joke that we're watching people love Jim Belushi?
Yeah,
Yes.
See, I think that the movie, again, I think all Jim Belushi movies are like this. Seeing him, like, succeed, but also, like, stick it to these, like, the snobs.
The fuddy-duddies.
It's the slobs versus the snobs. I think we're supposed to find that amusing and be like, yeah! But, I mean, I'm not, I wasn't.
Go Jim. It's like everybody in this movie has a stick up their ass, and you get he's going to teach them to loosen up.
Yeah.
I think some of the Grodin stuff is funny, but it just seems. I mean, we'll get more into it, but it just. I mean, it obviously retreads and
It's
go
almost
anywhere.
Yeah, it almost seems like two separate movies because they don't.
Well, like on 3 occasions, he ends up in the car with that woman, and it's just like, yeah, it's 2 separate movies converging. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I should point out, though, I love that Jim Belushi's best friend in prison is Dawn of the Dead's Ken Foree.
Yes.
Yeah, nice seeing him in something. He was good. He later, like, so they incite a riot in order to get Jim Belushi out of the prison so he can go see the Cubs game.
So he goes
and
to the war.
Ken Foree is like the leader of this riot, and he gets a lot of screen time in this movie, which is nice. nice.
They pretend they have kidnapped Jim Belushi and are holding him hostage so that the warden will, like, I don't know, give them back their TV privileges or something like that. So they create a distraction. So Jim Belushi pulls a Cape Fear and he escapes from the prison underneath this bus.
Doing his own stunts under that bus, just like Jackie Chan.
That was the clumsiest slide under the bus. It looked so painful.
Well, they do not do their own stunts later in the movie. Remember when he catches the baseball? It was like we were saying. It was like a completely different person.
April said that is a Latino man. That is not Jim Belushi.
Anyway, that's the end of the movie. But anyway, so yeah, Jim Belushi gets out. Charles Grodin, whose name is Spencer something.
I forget. Spencer Barnes. Okay.
Right. He's at the airport. They're running into each other. Although they don't actually interact in the airport, right?
No, not until...
They don't meet or they don't acknowledge each other. He just accidentally gets his file of facts.
Yeah.
But we skipped over the fact that Charles Grodin meets Anne DeSalvo on the plane.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Debbie?
They knew each other when I guess they were in college or high school.
Yeah, I think she implies that she had a crush on him and blah,
well,
blah, blah.
I have to say she is my favorite thing. She's my favorite character.
Wow.
I wanted her in the movie more, and I know she keeps coming back, but I feel like
but that voice.
that's why I like her.
I think that's the point, because when
she was almost like doing a Fran Drescher.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's why when I walk into your house, you have like the nanny cranked up to like 200%.
I've been known to watch a nanny rerun or two.
Yes, she has.
But yeah, I love her. She's so tacky. I love that he, like, over horrible circumstances, he loses everything, and then all he has is her number, you know.
And she just ends up being his chauffeur.
But she
pretty
stands
much.
up for herself at the end of the movie
She
too,
does.
and he makes it right. But I wanted more of her. I wanted her to get into more crazy antics. There weren't enough crazy antics.
Yeah, they'd always just keep cutting back to him in the car with her again and again.
And so we have Charles Grodin and Jim Belushi in the airport. Jim Belushi, sunglasses on, backwards baseball cap,
yeah.
just a real piece of shit.
Doesn't he have like a baseball glove or something tucked into his pants?
Into the front of his pants.
God,
a
I
large
hate him
chunk of the
so
early
much.
part.
It's to protect the goods. Da-na-na-na-na.
First of all, he's in the area where the gates are to get on the planes and how do you get to that area?
It's pre 9/11.
Did things change after?
Yes.
Could you just
Everything changed, Colin. Everything changed.
I know that, but could you
Not just airport gates.
I know.
But yeah, you could go right up to the gate. That's why it was in every movie and sitcom.
Really? I can't remember.
Yeah. No, definitely.
You say,
my
I'm going to
God.
see you off. You say goodbye, or you meet somebody at the gate. You didn't have to used to meet them at baggage
I thought there
claim.
was like a glass enclosure or something like that you'd sort of pass through. They would pass through if
I
they're
don't
going on
think
the
so.
plane. Really? Man, so you could just walk right up to the plane, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
And so Charles Grodin loses his Filofax here. I gotta ask you guys, I'll start with Dan. Have you ever lost like a wallet or like something important like that you're like, no, my life is ruined?
Thankfully, no, but I live in fear every day, honestly.
It's the self.
Like,
You
I
wake
don't
up
have-
in fear, you go to bed in fear.
Like, I don't have copies of my keys. Like, I don't have any of the important credit card numbers written down anywhere in case of emergency. So I would be pretty lost. I would become Grodin if this happened.
Yeah, I don't know
Just
anyone's
covered in
number.
grime.
Just thrown into a dumpster, a garbage dumpster.
Yes, exactly.
I once found a wallet when I was biking down the street in Toronto. It was filled with like $1,000, and the person's like everything. I think it had their passport in it. It was like a big
Oh
wallet.
my God.
And so I called the person up, went to drop it off, and it was the most surreal, like, she just had, like, 3 guys asleep on mattresses.
What?
Like, in this gigantic apartment that she lived in. When I gave her back her wallet, she's like, oh, thanks so much. Oh, if it was me, I would have taken the money. Here, it's $200. And she pulled it out and gave it to me.
Oh my God.
Wow, what was she? What was her deal?
Just a rich person, I think. Like, someone... Probably her parents are paying for her to stay in Toronto. She was nice. I was like, I don't want the money. It's good. She's like, no, take it. I would have taken it all if I had found it.
Well, you're a horrible person.
But there were people sleeping on what?
On mattresses?
Yeah, there were just like mattresses on the ground, and they weren't like they were like very well dressed young men just hanging out.
Weird.
And I was like,
Some kind of
I
like
don't know what's
vampires,
going
maybe?
on.
sex
I would say vampire.
trafficking.
Yeah, I was going to say human trafficking. or
They seemed
something.
all very rich, so maybe it's a like less than
One of
zero
those
situation.
Fancy mattresses on.
I was
the
kind of
floor.
like wondering, you see in movies people get robbed and like who carries around like $1,000 in their wallet or something
Well,
like that.
people on vacation do, which is probably why people go after tourists.
Not really, but I mean, they used to, I guess. But
used to, yeah.
we would always have to travel with traveler's checks in the 80s.
Yeah, traveler's checks.
The 70s and 80s, it was a big thing. You'd have to go to the hotel, like, oh, excuse me, do you accept traveler's checks?
What is a traveler's check?
It's basically just a check. Instead of carrying cash around, you would get traveler's checks that were useless to the person. If they got stolen from you, they wouldn't be able to use them. You have to show ID to exchange them.
Is that the same thing as like a money order?
Kind of.
Money order, I think, has to be addressed to a specific person or
Right.
but
traveler's checks, I think they would print your name on them, so you'd have to show ID to the hotel in order to exchange it for cash.
Well, people listen to this podcast, don't think they'll learn anything, but,
There you go.
you learn about archaic things like traveler's checks.
And Jim Belushi's career.
yeah, they're a little faster than writing a full check, but obviously safer than cash. I think that's
For sure.
That's the general idea.
Yeah, now it really doesn't matter because nobody carries around cash anyway. So
Sure, yeah.
They really don't now.
Jim Belushi finds the Filofax, and he does the Good Samaritan thing because on the inside of the flap it says, $1,000 reward for whoever brings this back.
And then what does he do?
This thing is massive, by the way. It looks like it's 5
It's
inches
like a Bible.
thick. It's got everything. It's got his boss's mansion key in Malibu. It's got the entry code. It's got everything that he needs.
And he has like 50 credit cards.
Yeah. So yeah, he takes it. And
he goes to Grodin's boss's gigantic mansion. And this is my favorite thing in the movie, which is I think we're pretty much introduced here to just let the Belushi loose and let him do shtick. Because he walked into the mansion, he's like doing some prop comedy stuff, and then he looks out the back and he's like, whoa, wow, there's the beach. Surf's up. Yeah. And it just cuts to Belushi in like a big white onesie, just splashing around the water. There's no joke.
Jumping around like a dolphin. I think that's
or like
supposed to be
a dog.
Joke. Or
like
a dog.
He's running into the water like a dog or a small child. Like he's never seen water
He's
before.
like diving kind of like he puts his arms
That
down.
was in the hot tub.
Like, I thought he did this. I thought he did it in the water.
Oh, he does it again because it's so
He does
funny.
a little bit in the water, and then he jumps over a surfer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed the mansion didn't have like an 80s angry guard dog. It's like,
You mean
but
like
I assume Belushi would just befriend it or something like
Ferris
that. So
Bueller?
Oh, they would love
And
him
then the dog
immediately.
would go after Charles Grodin, just like in Ferris Bueller. I was reminded of that a lot.
No,
when he was
he'd give the dog a beer, and they'd be friends.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say, Colin, if you want to see a movie with Belushi and a dog, I got a little picture called K9 for you.
I think I saw that in the theater. Wasn't there a Tom Hanks one as well?
Turner and Hooch.
Yes.
Turner and Hooch.
Turner and Hooch.
Okay.
Turner and Hooch is the one where the dog gets blown away at the end. That's how you remember.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hooch.
On camera.
Oh. Well.
So moving on, where's Grodin in all of this, April?
Well, Charles Grodin
Isn't
he gets thrown into a dumpster.
Yeah, he gets mugged. He ends up renting like this beater of a
That
car.
was pretty funny when he's like, "Oh, it needs body work. I don't care. I'll take it." And like he turns the corner and like essentially like half the car is missing. Like it looks pretty funny.
Yeah, he ends up getting beaten up and robbed, and then the bad guys dump him into a trash bin.
Also, the bad guys are like, "No money. You know what we do to guys who have no money, right?" And he's like screaming for his life, "No!" And I'm like, "Oh God, what are they gonna do?" They just throw him in a dumpster because it's a PG rated or probably R rated movie. I think there's boobs in this.
And there's some F-bombs.
Yeah, but
there's
that's all they did.
Yeah, they just threw him in a dumpster, and he remains filthy until the end of the movie.
That was
pretty
giving
much.
me anxiety. The fact that Charles Grodin has not showered throughout the whole movie until the last scene.
Or even like wiped off his face.
I know.
Yeah.
Like he looks. I know it's supposed to be for comedy reasons, but he goes from place to place. Even when he goes to Debbie's house, he doesn't take a shower. He doesn't wash his hands or his face. It's pretty crazy.
And throughout all of this, the Belushi is just having a ball in the big mansion. He's like Charlie Chaplin in modern times, just like playing with all the technology.
He's like running up and down like the stairs, like he's skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
He goes up one side and down the other, and he's doing like the John Belushi kind of like jumping as he's turning. It's just so obnoxious.
He sits in a vibrating chair.
He calls the chair an
"Oh."
idiot.
Yes. Do you ever like watch like a scene like this and imagine like what it would be with John Belushi?
No, because I'm not a John Belushi fan either.
Well, I'm not a big fan either, but I imagine it would be better.
I imagine you would be so
How about you,
good at
Dan?
it.
Were you a big John Belushi fan?
Not necessarily. I think that was a little bit before my time, really. But
Yeah.
I think not necessarily John Belushi in this role, but I don't know, maybe anyone else on planet Earth in this role.
A comedian, for instance.
Yeah, Norm Macdonald. That'd be great.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking Tom Hanks because I could believe that Tom Hanks is kind of like a lower class person, but like is not like such like a schlub,
A scumbag.
Somebody
Tom
people
Hanks would have
actually wanna have
absolutely
sex
been
with.
in the Charles Grodin role, though.
Yeah, I feel
Okay,
like.
but there's got to be a more charming person for this role, you know?
John Leguizamo.
Well, just cast
that
cast
would be
Tom
great.
Hanks in both roles because they only share like what 15 minutes of screen time.
It's true.
Yeah, you could totally do that.
Yeah, it's like a Twin Dragons type
Tom
situation.
Hanks and
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Hanks and Hanks.
like it writes itself.
Wait, he's got a brother. He could just do that.
Oh, yeah, Greg Hanks,
Yeah.
right?
You could put him.
He's like a bald Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get to work on hanking care of business now.
Oh, yeah, it writes itself. Give me the $1 million check, please.
Hey, you didn't come up with that
We don't
idea.
need J.J. Abrams.
It's too late. I've already signed the contract, guys. You're left in the dust.
So then we get a tennis game. First of all, two executives from, I guess, Charles Grodin's company show up to pick up Jim Belushi.
John Delancey and other guy.
Q himself from Next Generation.
And
Wait,
someone else.
because there's another Next Generation actor, could this be all a Q-like hallucination?
I wonder.
That's one of my theories. Yeah, is that this is a based on the person we see later. This is a Q generated simulation.
Just torturing her.
Yeah.
Just torturing Lauren Lachlan. You've got to make
has to
out
have
with Jim
sex with Jim
Belushi.
Belushi.
Oh, that poor woman.
Oh my God.
But yeah, they pick him up in a helicopter, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, they
Helicopter
kinda-
goes right to the beach.
Well, he's got to play a game of tennis against Mako, and so he's got to get all dolled up and go to this hoity-toity tennis club. He's never played tennis before in his life. He didn't know. He takes the first swing and he throws the racket, and then he's like,
And it hits Monco, but like he catches it. It's pretty
He catches it. Yeah.
he catches it, and then Jim Belushi's like, all right, okay, I gotta hold on to the racket when I swing.
Yeah,
Like,
so he doesn't know that he's supposed to let Mako win. That's what the other guys say, but he can't do that because he's Jim Belushi. But
Wait, we need to let people know that at this point, everyone thinks that Jim Belushi is the Charles Grodin character,
yeah.
and Jim Belushi just goes with it under the assumption that he will have sex with, I assume, some sex workers.
he's just going with everything because he's just like.
Because they're like, oh, there's women. You have
Well,
to pick some
he-
women. He's like,
Honestly, if he really wanted to go to that stupid game, he would be lying low. But he's been in prison for, I think, 2.5 years. He said so. He really
don't
wants
know.
to live.
he's living it up.
Yeah, live it up. So he kicks Mako's ass at tennis, even though he's never played before. And Mako is like, he looks like he's really angry. So you're like, oh no, he blew the deal. But it turns out
respects him.
he respects that.
This movie is so predictable.
Yeah,
we were just calling
so
it.
that
Yeah.
made me go and watch that amazing Mr. Show sketch. I don't know if you guys have ever seen
Which
it.
one?
Where it's like a boardroom,
Oh,
and
yeah. Yeah.
one of the guys talks back to Bob Odenkirk, and he's like, yeah, is what I would say if I didn't love your attitude. You're the new vice president. And then Dave Cross is like, oh, well, I think you're doing a bad job too. And Bob Odenkirk is like, you're fired. He's like, oh, no promotion? No, you're fired. And then he keeps promoting everybody, and he's like, you know what, David Cross? You've got a lot of guts for someone that's fired. Get out of here.
Yeah, if you show any bit of like spine or backbone, you get rehired.
That's like this movie.
Yeah, and we were just
over.
calling like every story beat of this thing. It's so predictable, and
Well, maybe in the 90s there weren't that. No.
no.
It has this kind
It's
of
a
like
tale as old
80s,
as time.
80s comedy, early 90s comedy thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when Belushi gets back, he sees a woman by the pool changing, and he goes, holy shit. And then the bass line of the music is like...
Not just that, but while he's at the tennis game, he gets a work call from
Oh, God,
a colleague, and then they're like, "You were supposed to give us the slogans for the cinnamon bun commercial." And then he sees a girl bending over. There's a lot of shots of women's asses in this. I guess she's wearing a thong and a tennis skirt, and he says, hey, look at those buns, right?
Check out those
Check out those
buns.
buns.
Check out those buns.
Yeah, and then he's like, that's great. So he's even good at advertising.
He's good at
No, he's bad, because later on they show the ad, which is just a woman bending over dressed as a cartoon.
What, that's bad?
And they're like, this is terrible.
No, and her ass is like sticking out, like the artist
Yeah.
is like.
Well, that's
drawing
on
huge ass.
the company's fault for going with that,
Yeah,
just
well.
because he said
Yeah.
check out those buns.
Yeah, poor Lauren Lachlan. So yeah, she's, I guess, staying at her father's house as well. I'm
Made it sound like she stays there kind of all the time.
It's
but
just
she doesn't want
weird.
to sleep in that bed. So I guess she was just there to use the hot tub.
I guess.
So Belushi takes so many baths in this movie.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of Charles Grodin. No baths. Lots of baths for the
Because
Belushi.
he's in the ocean, he takes a bath,
Hot tub.
and then he's in a jacuzzi. Yeah.
Yeah,
He gets in the rain later.
Do you think that's a like director thing? They're like, oh god, Jim Belushi, you got to take a bath. So they set all the scenes in the bath.
Well, I mean, he's coming out of prison, so all he's had there is showers, and
He wants a bath.
he wants a bath.
When he's in that bath, he's just doing shtick too, like splashing water, being just an annoying jerk.
Watching Dr. Ruth.
Yeah, but and then so he gets in the hot tub with Lauren Lachlan, and he is just hitting on her like so hard, and
She's like, I like that.
yeah, she's like, you're different than most of the guys my father's met.
Well,
he's giving her all this
because
life
he's
advice.
not like an ass kisser.
Yeah, and he turns around, and that's when I saw the ponytail again, and I just wrote, ugh. It's so disgusting.
So also his wife is calling because she's like, where are you? Why haven't you returned my
Charles
calls?
Grodin's wife is calling.
Jim Belushi, no wife for him.
No. No, he's got
In real life and in the...
he's got his eyes locked on Lauren Lachlan, and while she is on the phone with his Charles Grodin's wife, he just starts jumping around like a dolphin in the hot tub.
Yeah, well, Lauren Lachlan is talking to the wife, and she's like, he's not available right now. And yeah, he's like, I'll call you back later. I expected him to do like the dolphin sound,
But this is just something she's excusing his behavior to his wife, like, oh, he can't come to the phone right now, and for no reason he's just diving in this hot tub.
He's just having a good time. He's the life of the party.
It's a party of one.
This whole movie is a party of one. So is the dinner scene is next? I mean, Charles Grodin is like
He gets arrested.
one step behind. Poor,
he kind of breaks into the house, and
he makes it to the tennis club like right after they leave, and then he buys a ridiculous
Steals.
sweatshirt.
Steals,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
he steals it. Oh.
Yeah. Well, he tries to break in the house, and we were calling it ahead of time. Like, he's going to end up in jail. He's going to break into the house. He immediately gets arrested. Belushi gets flown to like this fancy dinner with Mako and Gates McFadden from.
Dr.
Yeah.
Crusher herself, playing a different character, which is I've never seen her in anything other than Star Trek.
As people tend to do when they are in
Tell that
movies
to
and other
John
TV shows.
Belushi, Jim Belushi, Jim Belushi. Anyway, she's like,
Do you think Jim Belushi, every time someone calls him John, he just like a warm glow falls upon him?
like,
It's
yes,
like the only time I get a
It's
compliment.
working. Yeah, so I guess she's some high-powered executive. Mako's
so
there.
she's kind of a bit of a bee,
Mako is like, asking, what should the advertising, thing be like? It should be built around honesty, and Jim Belushi, I guess, has tried some of his products in prison.
Yeah, so do they ever say that like, oh, we make prison food, or does that prison just happen to buy his cheap food?
I think it's just terrible quality food, but it's called like the best blah 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 or something like that. I can't.
And
remember.
also at the beginning of the movie, we see Jim Belushi like cooking in the kitchen.
Oh yeah,
He's on kitchen duty.
He's making gruel for the prisoners.
And yeah, apparently it's not very good.
But Mako is loving this straight talk that he's getting from Jim
Yeah,
Belushi.
right.
And then they're kind of nudging him.
Cannot get enough of it.
Yeah, they're kind of John Delancey is nudging him like, you got to make a toast to Mako, and he says this toast that he did in prison. He's like,
No.
yeah, here's to the Cubs winning the World Series and big tits.
And of course, Mako laughs at this
he's
because
loving it.
Yeah, but Gates McFadden is, of course,
Offended. Yeah.
and she's also offended that he would say that the prison food was bad. And he's like, "Hey, I'm just being honest." But he like, goes into detail about how like it doesn't taste good. This is bad. It's all bad. But hey, maybe you just shouldn't call it good. Maybe you should call it affordable.
Yeah.
And Mako's like,
Yes. You are not like the other people.
Are you? Yeah. You're not like the other executives.
Yeah.
He's not like the other. He's a manic pixie dream girl. So he's like a manic pixie fat boy.
hog?
Yeah, dream hog.
Well, he ends up going. Does he like steal a car here from the hotel?
He does. But before we leave the dinner, I want to point out what he says to Gates McFadden on his way out. Do you guys remember?
No.
Oh, so he had toasted, of course, to big tits, and on the way out, he tells her she has nice tits, and then Mako says, "Nice titty." Also,
I did notice that after that toast, she like opens her jacket and kind of leans back as if to be like, "Oh, okay, he likes boobs. So I guess I'll try and show him my." And it's not even a low cut shirt. Like, I mean,
it's just like a white T-shirt.
Yeah.
So then he goes to this blues bar to meet Lauren Laughlin, and
Oh, how does he not just jump up on stage and start,
really thought that was
playing some of them
Justin,
blues?
my blood ran cold for a second. I was like, no.
and then
no.
everyone's gonna cheer.
Oh, he's not going to get on stage. Everyone's going to love him.
Da-na-na-na-na.
I am so glad that didn't happen because I am realizing now that I put you guys through more than enough.
I just my
Can't
note
stand him singing.
my note for this scene was mercifully he doesn't sing.
Dan, I love Jim Belushi, and the worse Jim Belushi, the better. I'm shocked I had not seen Taking Care of
I would
Business.
love for him to like go on stage and then David Cross shows up and starts dancing at the front.
just snuck onto the set of
And
the
he's so charming. They go back to like his place and they bone, and it's so disgusting.
And
Never
he's
felt,
like nervous about it, and that's when she says, "Wow, you're the first guy who hasn't just jumped my bones," because he, doesn't do it immediately. And then like you kind of like, I mean, this was the 80s or the early 90s. Like you kind of see him doing it. Like you don't see anybody doing it these days.
You see Jim Belushi's tender lovemaking.
Yeah, I mean, they're under sheets. And then, of course, his wife calls again. Oh, no. Or Charles Grodin's wife. And then she, like, somehow is so angry. She ends up, like, going to Malibu.
Yeah.
Which is later. But, like, she's, like, I think she's convinced that he's, like, cheating on her.
Yeah, for sure. As you would if you're, it's such a mix-up.
But
well, anyway, the next scene is when they finally meet Charles Grodin and Jim Belushi. It's like the last act of the movie.
Wait,
This is really
70
funny, though,
minutes
because Charles Grodin walks in and he's like, I'm going to kill you.
we forgot to mention that Charles Grodin had to go to Debbie's house for dinner, and she gave him some sweet parachute pants.
Oh, she mentions that she lost 71 pounds, so we were confused.
Oh, that's what that's the pants?
He's wearing these gigantic parachute pants.
They're funny looking. They look like they're called harem pants now.
Go on, Justin.
They've had a rebrand.
I was just going to say that there's a little bit of a slapstick fight as Charles Grodin like strangles Jim Belushi and the audience jumps to their feet. They're like, yeah.
Like Jim Belushi like overpowers him immediately because he's so strong. He's got that prison strength.
He's the Belushi. No one can beat him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, he has like a line in his contract, like, I don't know, some of those shitty action stars like Steven Seagal, like he can't take a punch, he can't be defeated.
I seriously think that's the case.
Yeah, it's like Vin Diesel, in the Fast and the Furious movies. It's like, I can't take more punches than I give.
But yeah, Charles Grodin gets the upper hand because he realizes he wants to go to the game. So he takes his tickets and he puts them in his mouth. And he's like, I'm going to eat them.
Threatening to, so they end up like stealing his boss's car, and then they go to this big meeting. I guess it's like one of the early like video meetings, like a Zoom meeting.
Was that before the game? After?
It's before the game.
It's before the game?
And Charles Grodin is like, I'm not going to take this anymore. You worked me to the bones. I've had it. I quit. And then,
yeah, a good scene of him quitting his job.
Yeah.
You really I felt for Grodin.
Yeah. And then Jim Belushi's like, I quit too. And then, Mako's there and he's like, oh, I just love these people. Like, I respect them so much.
And is that when he fires Gates McFadden?
It's in a later scene. Yeah.
Oh, it's later. Oh.
There is a thing that did make me laugh is that his boss is on the screen and they're leaving and they're like, we're getting out of here. And they turn the TV off and his boss goes, no. And then the TV turns off.
And it's like, Phew. Yeah, that was funny.
So then
his boss, who, by the way, is in a hospital bed with tubes coming out of him, and he had a heart attack during the events of the movie.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't die.
Yeah, I really thought that was happening.
I thought that was going to happen, and then it's like, oh, bequeath the company to you or something like that, to Charles Grodin. But no.
Or his daughter or something like that, and then Jim
Yeah.
Belushi becomes the owner of the company.
Well, I guess
That's a different movie.
I guess does the daughter inherit the? Yeah, the daughter should inherit the company, and then Jim Belushi.
King Ralph Part 2, starring Jim
No,
Belushi.
isn't there a Jim Belushi movie where he becomes like a king?
There can't be.
There is. They did it on WHM. I remember.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
That's a gap in my Belushi experience. If there's
Justin
one,
hit the IMDb.
Is it called King Jim?
Yeah.
I will do research. People sound out in the Patreon comments of whatever the previous episode was.
They're still angry about our take on Midnight Mass, by the way. So.
Call it. Don't bring it up.
Sorry.
Just gonna anger them more.
I don't want to offend any Belushi heads by this review.
Do you think that Midnight Mass fans and Jim Belushi fans are one and the same?
It's like the crossover. It's like.
It's like weird. People that are anti-vax are really pro-crypto. I wonder why that is.
So we finally get to the baseball game.
Yeah, well,
And-
I'm like, I wish I was watching The Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Baseball game.
that would have been great.
So they are sitting next to a young J.J. Abrams.
No, well, we thought it was.
No.
It's not.
Don't
But who?
recognize
No.
that kid?
Okay, so who is this kid?
He's the kid from Jurassic Park that Sam Neill threatens with death at the beginning of the movie.
way.
He has a very distinctive face, although we thought it was J.J. Abrams.
Oh, that's right.
He's got giant eyes. And that's why I'm like,
Yeah.
I know that kid. Was he in Children of the Corn? No. Okay. What else was he in?
wants you, Malachi.
He was also the Freddy Jr. in Nightmare 5, the Dream Child.
That's right. Yeah.
Really?
I didn't see that. But anyway, so the Cubs win, but Jim Belushi catches this amazing foul ball, and he goes up on a pole and spins around, and he's like, ah.
And
It's so funny that they're like, they have me on television, and we keep seeing the shot of clearly not Jim Belushi catching that ball.
Yeah.
it's in slow motion, and they probably filmed it way back when. It's like no one's going to be able to rewind this and look at it or zoom in. Doesn't matter. April is like, that is a Latino man. That is not Jim Belushi.
Well, the hardcore Belushi fans usually have 8 or 9 beers in them at that point, so they're not going to notice stuff like that.
Yeah. I can believe that.
They're pissing in bottles by the end of the movie.
Hey, we were drinking wine, and we could tell.
Yeah.
That's per usual.
It's probably Jim Belushi shows this at his parties, and he's slapping people on their back like, yeah, that's me. Check it out.
There's also right after this, they have to escape from the cops, and they jump down
On a
and
zip line.
fall. Yeah. No, but before that, I think they fall down, and I was like, they fall both at the same time, and you could it looked absolutely nothing like either of them.
Oh my god. Yeah, Grodin's stunt person is maybe a foot and a half shorter
Yeah,
than him.
the body types.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they kind of do this zip line gag, but they're zip lining on his Filofax.
Oh, is that
they're-
what that was?
Yeah, and then when they get to the bottom and they kind of
That's good screenwriting.
they hit the fence, but they kind of hold. It's very slow motion. They kind of hold on it a few seconds longer, and you can kind of see Belushi's stuntman, of course, does not look anything like him, and he's tied to this thing. It's horrible.
I'm so stupid. I was like, where did they get that big piece of leather? It was, but it was also apparently the Filofax.
There you go.
So they escape, and then Jim Belushi's like, well, it's over.
Everything is resolved, and Mako calls them.
Well, Jim's got to get back to prison.
Oh,
because
God!
This whole time,
this whole thing.
they had a riot standoff with the prison warden, and apparently the press has shown up. It's been an all weekend long event. So how are we going to get Jim Belushi back in prison? Now remember, Charles Grodin and Jim are friends now, and he's like, I've got an idea. Cut to Charles Grodin, who's finally showered. Finally. And
Wait,
he's
we're getting to the end.
dressed as a priest.
Dan, you haven't picked a favorite thing yet. Do you want to take this as your favorite?
Could it be this scene?
My absolute favorite thing in this movie is Jim Belushi in drag as his own mother.
Yeah. An early Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah,
Mrs. Featherbottom. There's a lot of David Cross in this.
from Blackstool.
Yeah, so they have this idea that if we bring
Charles Grodin
his
is a
mom
priest.
in as a priest, and then
She's got to do the hostage negotiation or something like that. But
yeah, basically, just like quick recap, I guess, like Ken Foree and the other inmates have a boombox with Belushi's voice on it.
Right.
They're playing it through a loudspeaker to kind of keep people at bay, but they're about to storm the prison now and overtake it. So they want to get Belushi back in, but they also want to alleviate any kind of violence or anything at this point.
Right. So Belushi, as his mother, goes in to speak to the hostage takers. He takes off all the hair and everything, gets dressed back up.
Well, not after meeting Hector Elizondo and kissing him.
Oh
first.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, who's none the wiser at that point.
Yeah. So here's my issue. So he kind of walks in, speaks to Ken Foree, gets dressed back up as Belushi, comes back out like, "Oh, thank you, Hector Elizondo, you saved me." Where do they think his mom went?
He asks, he's like, "Where'd your mom go?" She's like, "Oh,
she went home."
She's part of the prison now.
Yeah.
absorbed into the walls."
Well, okay, so at this point, Hector Elizondo, he knows what happened. He after he goes in and then comes back out, he's like, "Why are you wearing lipstick? Why do you smell like perfume?" He knows, but he has to let him go because the press has been raising Jim Belushi as a hero, but because even though he's a prisoner, they took him hostage. So he's one day from getting released. You can't not release him. He's like, "Of course not. Of course I'm letting him out."
Yeah.
So he knows what happened, but
I think so. Yeah.
he can't.
Because he loves Jim Belushi. Everybody loves Jim Belushi.
No, I think he just begrudgingly is like, "All right, you bested me."
Whatever.
You won this round, Jim.
He's getting out.
He fucking throws his baseball through the window. Just as a final insult to this man who was really very nice to you, Jim Belushi.
He wasn't really. It was almost like the crew members throwing the world according to Jim through the window.
It's just according to Jim.
Okay, whatever.
I'm looking at Jim's credits, and I can't believe that he had a 3-episode reality TV show about him just growing weed.
What?
And the image of the trailer is him boxing. Come on, Jim Belushi's never boxed in his life.
Maybe that was like an advertisement for his bud.
But I think if he did box, he would probably be the greatest boxer ever. And everyone would love him.
Well, we know he can beat up Charles Grodin.
Yeah, very easily.
But in Grodin's defense, Grodin's been dead for several months.
Yeah.
He's wrestling Charles Grodin's corpse.
Oh.
R.I.P.
Oh.
The wrong man died.
Couple times, yeah. Grodin, his brother, yeah.
Well, if this movie did anything, it definitely made me want to watch more Charles Grodin movies.
Yes, definitely.
We definitely.
We skipped that. The film takes us out the way it began, on top with taking care of business.
I feel like if this movie was made today, they would save the song, the title song, until the end credits, and then it would be just a cover by Pitbull or whatever his name is.
Thankfully, I don't think they'd ever make this movie today.
It's like Fall Out Boy, but taking care of business.
Imagine Dragons.
It'd be like a really bad cover of it. But this movie gives you what you want right from the very beginning.
Well, I know that.
Yeah, uncut.
At the end of the movie, Charles Grodin and his wife go to Hawaii. They finally go on vacation. What's Jim doing?
Well, he goes on a date with Lauren Laughlin. She's like, "Yeah, I want to see you again."
They both get offered jobs at Mako's company.
Yeah, he's
by
like,
the way.
"I want to hire you both as a team."
Yeah, and Charles Grodin's like, I gotta
Jim
think about
Belushi
it.
is very unqualified for that.
Yeah.
But he's good at telling the truth, and that's all you need. It's like that stupid thing about, if you want to get hired at a big company, just walk in and don't take no for an answer, and you'll get hired.
Yeah, you'll get hauled off by the police in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Here you go. And we got that's taking care of business.
Well,
starring
taking
Jim
care
Belushi.
of business.
Thank you, Dan. I had never seen the movie before. Now I have.
This is my gift to you.
Our Christmas gift, early Christmas gift.
I know.
Or I guess Thanksgiving.
We're all going to be
gift.
buying DVDs of Taking Care of Business for our friends and family and stuffing them in those stockings.
But instead of wrapping them up and giving them to them, we'll just throw them through their windows.
Here you go. I can't believe it took me this long to watch a Jim Belushi movie.
Wow.
Well, you've never seen a single Jim Belushi film before?
No, I can't. I don't think so. Like I said, I've seen him in things, but not his movie.
I know of Jim
I'm trying
Belushi.
to think. I'm trying to think of like movies during that era that might be at least interesting to watch. He's in a movie called Real Men with John Ritter that I remember being kind of good and interesting, and obviously K9 is
And like
is fun.
Red Heat, I saw that. That was probably.
Oh yeah,
Is that the one with
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Lorraine Bracco? No, he did like a sexy movie with Lorraine Bracco.
Oh,
That's not what we're
A
talking about.
sexy
No.
movie.
Red Heat is with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I think it's called Traces of Red.
I think so, or Traces of Blue or something. You're right.
He's also the Santa Claus in Jingle All the Way. Speaking of Christmas,
Yeah,
right.
he's barely in it.
Oh, he can do good things.
But anyway, I would recommend this movie. Like, it wasn't a laugh a minute or anything like that, but I feel like it's worth it just to see Charles Grodin in a good performance. And like I said, I liked the lady who played Debbie, and he's not like Belushi isn't like insufferable. It's a little
whoa! You take those words back.
and well, it's like there's so many good cameos as well by other people that we know and love.
Yeah, Mako, Hector
Elizondo and
John Delancey.
John Delancey and
We
Vince
love them all.
McFadden.
Everyone's here. So this movie is available on iTunes. Didn't check to see if there's a Blu-ray release, but
I can't imagine there is.
I'm sure it's like Shout Selects or something like that.
I think
It's
Vinegar
like
Syndrome
$40.
put out a version.
yeah.
No, it's a pretty good copy. I mean, the one that we rented on iTunes, it looked pretty good.
Yeah, actually, it looked fine. Like, it wasn't like low res or anything like that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. So taking care of business. I
Yeah.
can't say it without like doing like the sing song.
I know. I've just had this goddamn song in my head all day long.
Oh my God! There's 3 K9 movies with Jim Belushi.
If you want to talk about K9, then that is a whole other
Isn't there
thing.
like K10?
Yeah. No, K9, K9 PI, and
K911.
K911.
No.
If you look at the
Yeah, K911 came out in 2002. It's about the towers.
Oh no.
well,
it's not.
it came out before 9/11, but the poster for K911 is Belushi and the dog in front of a gigantic explosion.
Oh, at least it didn't have 2 towers.
Jim
on it.
Belushi can't melt steel beams. It's not true.
Oh, that's terrible. Okay, well, if you want to email the podcast, we're at no such thing as a bad movie at gmail.com. You can tweet at us at no such thing pod. Consider becoming a Patreon, patreon.com/no such thing as a bad movie. If you're subscribed on the $5 level, you get a little bonus episode every 2 weeks. Next week, we're talking about Shang-Chi, the Legend of the Ten Rings. Hope I got that right. It's a very long title.
Oh boy, we gotta watch Traces of Red, the erotic
Ew.
90s noir starring Jim Belushi.
I do want to watch that.
do you think that's like his Color of Night, like the Bruce
Yes.
Willis?
Probably
Yes.
not that good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm always happy to come back.
Yeah, might have to do
Someone wrote, it's like Fred Olin Ray trying to make a sexy Sunset Boulevard.
Is Fred Olin Ray directed?
No, I wish. No, Jim Belushi wouldn't be. He's like, I'm too good for that.
Yes. If you want to find me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at April Admansky.
You can find me, Decloux, Decloux, the letter J. I'm also on Letterboxd at Justin Decloux.
And I'm on Twitter at Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA.
And Dan, do you have anything to plug or any social medias?
Any more Belushi films?
No, if you want to follow me on Twitter or on Letterboxd, it's at Dan Port.
I should say, though, I do like Jim Belushi. He was in this movie. I'm looking at his credits. He has so many. It's very difficult for me to
You're
find
like
the one I want to
obsessed with
talk
Belushi
about.
now. It's amazing.
I know. I love him. Oh, he's in Abraxas. I love
Yes.
Abraxas.
Oh my God, is the principal.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Vaguely remember that.
Yeah, remember we saw Abraxas with the director, and he said that Jim Belushi was like dating the star of the movie or something.
or like the producer or something.
I think he was.
I remember because I put that screening
Yeah,
on.
I know.
Yeah,
he
right.
said, he was dating like the lead actress, and then he like insisted on doing it in his character from another movie or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, from The Substitute. Or
The
no,
Principal.
no, something else. Something like
Principal
that.
is his movie.
The
yeah.
Yes,
Substitute
that's
is
right, The
is
Principal.
a different movie entirely. That's Tom Berenger.
Yeah.
And then it's Treat Williams in part 2 and 3.
That's
Oh my
right.
God.
Well, that's it for this week. Thank you, Dan, for coming on the show. Thank
Yeah,
you
that
for
was
a
fun.
great,
Thank you so much, Dan,
Yeah, that was
especially
really
for contributing.
great recommendation and for being a great guest. and for introducing me to the world of the Belushi.
Oh no, no!
I'm so sorry.
No!
I have tears in my eyes from laughing so hard
Yeah, this
thinking
is-
about Jim Belushi.
I think April's just gonna be renting Jim Belushi movies now. So.
check out and see what's on the old Tubi.
It's like someone finding, like Akira Kurosawa. They're like, oh, there's so many movies to watch. He was in Peggy Sue. He was in so much stuff.
Well, take care, everybody, and make sure
come
to
on. Not just take care.
Take care of business. I'm April Atmansky.
TCB.
I'm Justin the Glue.
I'm Colin Cunningham.
And remember...
And
Dan Port. No, Dan Port.
I'm Dan Port.
Yeah, there you go.
And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.